Hello. This is Els coming from Bemis Crafty Corner, and I want to talk to you about the kit that you're going to be getting for the Harry Potter ornament class. I will tell you, I've added some more images to this from what everybody originally saw. So today's going to be the first time you guys are actually going to get a look at those. Let's talk about what's in here and what you can do in advance of the class to kind of help move things along. So the first thing you're going to get is going to be a pack that looks like this. There's some baker's twine in here and some jute twine and some embroidery floss. We're going to use that as we go through, but we don't need it right now, so put it inside. You're going to get 2 paper straws. Now you can replace these with wooden dowels if you want to, but the reason that I used the paper straws is because I was considering the weight of the ornaments. We don't want to make them heavy because, you know, if you put something on your tree that's too heavy, then your branch goes bleh. And nobody likes limp leaves, right? Okay, so if you wanted to, you could get some black paint or some brown paint, whatever you want to paint these, and just paint them, set them aside, let them dry. We're going to use those later on. Excuse me. You're going to get 3 pieces of 24-point white chipboard. We're going to use this for quite a few of the ornaments, so we want to make sure that we keep this on hand. You know, if it got a little bent up on the corner, that's no big deal. We'll take that off. It's more than enough for what we have, okay? Next thing in your kit is 2 pieces of approximately 10 by 10 inch foam board. Again, more than enough to complete the project. You are going to get a manila envelope. This really has no purpose for the project other than to put your ornament pieces in once you cut them so that they're not all over the place, okay? So keep that. You're going to need that for the next set. You are also going to receive some sandpaper, okay? You're going to get a sheet of sandpaper. Now, this is important, and I selected sandpaper that doesn't slide. You know, it stays pretty still. It's got like a sticky back on it, and I chose it for a reason. Then you're also going to get, as my thank you for purchasing the kit, I'm going to include some Harry Potter washi tape. Yay! And we're going to get the images. So let's take a look at what we have for images. So the first page has not changed. Okay, these are the book covers. And on the second page, we did change this. You now have this one, which is the Phoenix Feathers. This is from the Apothecary. It's an Apothecary label. So I included that in the set. Then you're going to be getting another page that has some proclamations, a whole page of proclamations, some banners, some more proclamations, more book covers. Here's where we've made some changes. Again, we have some book covers. And then you've got 2 extra additional books. I've also included 2 night bus tickets and 2 platform tickets. And then this whole sheet of book covers, these are brand new, okay, to this kit. So we're going to concern ourselves with page 1 and 2 to begin with. The rest of these we'll just set to the side. We're going to get started on these, okay? So let me kind of walk you through what you're going to be doing here real quick, and then I'll go into a little more detail. So on page 1, you're going to cut this in half along the length. And on page 2, you're going to cut it in half across the middle. And then we're going to start trimming these out, okay? So I've already started kind of trimming on mine. So let me show you what we have. So here's some of my book covers that I've cut out. And I have my quibblers that come on page 2. When you cut these out, what you want to do is you just want to cut around them. And keep in mind that on the back pages, there's going to be a little bit of white on the back page because it's a newspaper, right? So you're going to cut all the quibblers out, keeping the 2 pages together, the front page and back page. You want to keep those together. Don't cut them apart. You're going to be cutting out your 2 apothecary labels. And if you can fussy cut these, fussy cut them. If you cannot, then just cut them with your straight edge, you know, along the bottom and on both sides, and then just fussy cut the top. Okay? So let's take a look at how the easiest way is to cut these. Now, if you're good with your cutter, by all means use your cutter. If you're not, straight edge, craft knife, rotary cutter, whatever you use, okay? Just line it up so that you're just barely on the edge and just cut away the excess, okay? And we're just going to do that for all of these book covers. And then once we have these all cut out, what we're going to do is we're going to put them into the manila envelope so that they don't get damaged while we wait to use them. So don't cut your book covers apart. You want a whole book cover. So you want the whole jacket, okay? So I'm going to finish cutting these out, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the next pages, okay? All right, so once we've cut out all of the book jackets on the first couple of pages and the quibblers, and we've put those in the envelope, the next thing we're going to turn ourselves to are the proclamations. Unfortunately, these, for printing purposes, were kind of spread out throughout through the process. So you're just going to have to kind of find them. And they're pretty easy. One's like a whole page. One's like most of a page. Then the only one that's a real pain is this one right here. It's the last one. And so I'm just going to show you real quick how to get this one out of here as simply as possible. Just go ahead and cut along the edge here, removing your platform tickets. Set those to the side. Then cut out your bus ticket on the other side. You know what to do with the quibblers. And then you're just going to cut this one out. And when you're cutting these out, just kind of go right around the black edge. And you're going to get all of these proclamations cut out. There's 2 of each. Now, some numbers are duplicated for the proclamations, but the proclamations themselves are different. So you're just going to have to kind of match them up, okay? And so we're going to get all of these cut out. Pretty simple, pretty easy. And once we have all of these cut out, we have them matched up, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to go ahead and put them straight into the envelope to keep them safe until class begins. All right. And then we're going to go back and we're going to start cutting the next pieces out. And the next pieces are pretty easy. It's going to be the platform tickets, the banners, and the bus tickets. And they're pretty straightforward, pretty much exactly what you've done with everything else. We're just going to get them all cut down. Excuse me. Now, once we have them all cut down and they're all in the envelope, then you know what? Relax, because you're done. Oh, that one got wonky. There we go. Get that out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, so I have all of these cut out. I'm just going to set them off here to the side for a second. I'm going to worry about those in a minute. You guys know what to do with the quibbler, so we're not going to go over that again. Same thing on the platform tickets. You're just going to cut it right at the edge. Right at the edge of the printing. And we're going to cut these out. We're going to cut them apart because we do want the 2 pieces. We'll do the same thing with the bus tickets as well. Now, there's no white between these, so you just have to kind of find that middle point. So you'll have 2 platform tickets. You'll do the same thing here. So you're going to have 2 of the night bus tickets. This one, I'm happy to say, you can see the white between the tickets, so it makes it a little easier to cut them in half. My printer gets a little weird when he does the layout sometimes. So we have 2 of those. And the next thing we're going to be cutting out that you're going to need are going to be the banners. Now, here's the thing. There's 2 Ravenclaws, 2 Slytherins, 2 Hufflepuffs, and 3 Gryffindors. It's just the way they lay it out on the paper. You only need 2 of each color. So you're going to go ahead and cut these out. You're going to do the same thing. You're just going to use your straight edge and your cutter. You're going to cut across the tops, down the sides, and then you're going to cut in either using scissors or your craft knife, however you need to cut this, and you're going to cut in these banner pieces. Once you have those, you're going to put those together and put them in your envelope. And then we're going to move on to the last page, which is this page right here. You have 2 sets. There's a top set, bottom set. They're exactly the same. So you have a front cover, back cover, front cover, back cover, front cover, front, back, front, back, front, back. So on these, and there's a couple of choices that you can make with this. This is entirely up to you. This is a bonus piece. You can either cut these all apart and use one on the front, one on the back of your ornament, or if you have some hanging around, you could use just plain, craft paper, or you could use Amy paper, or you could use cardstock, or you can use tea-dyed paper, whatever you want to do. I'll show you a couple of variations with these when we get to them, but so you want to cut these all out individually. And then we're going to look at the last 2 book covers, which are these 2, cut them out just like you did the first ones. Then we're going to talk about the Potter covers, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and move all of this. We're going to get some Potter covers out here, and we're going to start at cutting those out, okay? I'll be right back. All right. So I have cut out all of my proclamations. And so I'm going to be putting all of those in my envelope. I have cut out all of my house banners and my bus tickets and my platform tickets. Those are going in. I've got all of my quibblers and everything all cut out. I've got my other books, my class books. I have my extra books cut out, and I'm going to be placing all of these into my envelope for safekeeping. And we're going to be moving on to this one. Now, I did take the newspapers out of the kit, and the reason that I did that is because they were a little confusing and not very clean. So I'm going to be allowing a PDF for that. So if you want to cut those out, I will be talking about them in the class, but they're not included in the gloss sheet. So if you want to print that set out, do it yourself, and I will show you how to do those because they're a little bit different than the rest of them, and they're kind of a pain in the butt. So I did include the enough string for them, so don't worry about that. So on the book covers, we're going to be doing the same thing here. We're going to be cutting out the book covers. And these are pretty well lined up, so that you should be able to kind of go around the outsides all at the same time on these. Thou shalt not cut thy fingers on the rotary cutter. We're going to get all of these book covers cut out, and these are pretty much going to be the last ones that we do because these are the most difficult of all of the ornaments to put together. So you could actually wait to cut these out until class if you wanted to, and keep them in a full sheet. That is entirely up to you. I just like to make sure that I have everything cut out in advance. And then we are done with all of the cutting until class. There's really nothing else that you can do until we get into the class. So if you have hung in this long and you've gotten everything cut out, good for you. You are ahead of the game. And you will be ready to go when we get together to do these. Beautiful book covers, right? All right, so I have all of these. I'm going to get the rest of them cut out. I've got about 4 more to cut out. And once they're all cut out, I'll put them in the envelope with everything else. And then I'm going to put this away and forget about it until class time. Okay? I'm not going to mess with it. The other thing that is in your bag of stuff, in your pack, is going to be a little card right here. And the little card just, tells you to start cutting your images, not to cut any of the foam board or chipboard, and then gather some supplies that are listed on the back. And if you look at the back, on the back, there's a whole list of things that you might want to have. So just a quick overview. Double-sided tape or tape runner, black paint, and a brush or a paint pen. A marker is going to work fine if that's what you've got. It's like a Sharpie or something. You can use that. You're going to want some glue, particularly 301 art glitter glue, Fabri-Tac, or some kind of the like. You don't want anything too thin for this or too watery. You're going to want a gold marker, a gilding pen, or paint a fine brush, whichever you prefer. You're going to want a ruler, some ribbon embellishments, some washi tape if you desire to add some things to these. That's entirely up to you. Black ink with a dauber. You're going to want some tan ink. Yeah, those of you that have it and can't help yourself, use some vintage photo there. But on the tan ink, you're actually going to want an old paintbrush or an inking brush, a small one, not a big one. We're talking like something like this, okay? Something very loose. That's the kind of brush you're going to want here. You're going to want some scissors, a craft knife, and possibly some Wink of Stella, some Glitterific or something like that. So all of the things are listed on the card. The card is going to be tucked into your package. And, other than that, just make sure you got a place to cut stuff, because this is, and some place to maybe paint stuff and set it to the side, because we're going to be doing things in a little bit of a weird order in order to make sure that everything dries on time. Okay, so that's it, guys. Bear with me. This is going to be the first class that I've ever taught in this format, so I'm used to doing these in live, in person, where I can walk over and help somebody, but I can't do that here. So if you have a question, make sure you put it into the chat box when the time comes, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. Until then, if you haven't done so already and you would like to, please subscribe. Go ahead and click that red button for me. Like me, ring my bell, and share me with all of your friends. And then your friends can be my friends, and, that's what a community is about. Until the next time, guys. Bye.